It's Father Vogel. We continue our series on Saint Jean-Baptiste de la Salle's Meditations in Time of Retreat for Teachers. We are in the fifth meditation, which he brings this very rich image for us to ponder of teachers being visible angels for their students. So we reach the third point. He says, you encounter so many obstacles to salvation in this life, it is impossible to avoid them if left to you and your own guidance. This is why God has given you guardian angels to watch over you, as the prophet says, to prevent you from falling by tripping against some stone, that is, some obstacle of your salvation. Your angels inspire you and help to keep you away from the path where you might encounter an obstacle. So, this is one of the major roles of our guardian angels, is to protect us, to keep us, as it says, from stumbling. Not just protect us from physical harm, but from spiritual dangers as well. So we need angels as adults, so do our children need guardian angels. Because he says how much easier it is for children to fall over some precipice, because they are weak in mind as well as in body, and have little understanding what is for their own good. They have so much to learn, yet they don't understand all the different things that can be harmful, not only to them physically, but also to their soul as well. Therefore, they need the light of watchful guides to lead them on the path of salvation, guides who have an adequate understanding of matters concerning piety and a knowledge of the ordinary faults of young people. Thus, they will be able to help them be aware of pitfalls and keep them away from them. So, this is roles, well, very much primarily as parents, but especially among teachers as well, who you're interacting with your students so much. You want to be good guides to them, those kind of visible angels for them to watch, to observe, and to receive knowledge of, this is going to be something that's going to lead to your harm. And know, and he says that the knowledge of the ordinary faults of young people. So know what are the things that they are dealing with at different ages, and what are the things that we can do to assist them. I certainly have to reflect upon this, as my role as a priest, especially in the confessional, when they come, to be able to give them appropriate, how to pray about something. Oftentimes, I'll have them turn to angels or the saints as their good guides to continue to assist them. And so we ourselves want to be able to point them out as visible angels to them. Continues, this is what God has provided in giving children teachers whom he has charged with this care, to whom he has given the concern and the vigilance, not only to prevent anything whatsoever harmful to their salvation from capturing their hearts, but also to guide the children through all the dangers they meet in the world. The result will be that the devil will not even dare to approach them, because they are under the guidance of these attentive leaders and under the protection of God. So, beautiful imagery. It's important for us to be reminded that we are in a spiritual battle, that there is an enemy that wants to destroy us. He wants to destroy our children. And so we must ever be vigilant. It says, not only to prevent children from getting caught up in something, but it says also to guide them in the proper direction. So kind of twofold. Guide them away from what is bad, and then also toward what is good. And he says that if somebody has that kind of good guide, then it will get in the way of the enemy. He says that the devil won't even dare to approach them, because he knows that if he tries to get them to do something, their good guides are just going to get in the way and stop it again. And he'll give up. But if a child doesn't have a good guide like that, then the enemy can very easily come in, and there's nobody to help the child to discern, to understand when something is the influences of the enemy. He continues, ask God today for the grace to watch so well over the children confided to you that you will take every possible precaution to shield them from serious faults. So we ask God for the grace to be able to be that kind of visible angel to them. Ask God to be such good guides for them through the light that you will procure for yourselves by turning to God, and by the fidelity with which you do your work, that you will see every obstacle to the good of their souls and keep away from the path of their salvation everything that could harm them. So, just as he's always doing, he's saying this depends upon God, that we have to ask God to be able to be that good guide, so that we need to turn to God and be filled with his light for our own lives, be following him, because obviously, as Jesus says, in the Gospels, the blind can't lead the blind. So we need to ensure that we ourselves are enlightened by God if we're going to be a guide to be able to light the way for our students. This is the principal care you must have for the children entrusted to you. It is the main reason why God has entrusted you with such a holy a ministry. And it is on this that God will call you to give an exact account on the day of judgment. So, how have we guided our students? He's not going to give us an account so much as to, how good was your teaching? You forgot to teach them, this one subject or this specific thing, or that semester when everybody was at home and you didn't get as much accomplished as you want. No, that's not so much what is going to be of concern of our Lord. Rather, it says what's going to be concerned is, were you a good guide? So, for example, maybe during this time of, how were you a guide to families, to students? How did you help them to remain close to one another, to God, even if imperfectly. Obviously, God is not expecting perfection in the way that we think we should be perfect, but he expects perfection in the way that he will develop within us. So if we have that kind of attitude toward our students, of being a visible angel, a good guide, turning to God for that assistance, that will help us to be able to truly live out this vocation as teachers. God bless.